Tonight, as they have done every other night for the past 3 months, Orange men and their supporters gathered at Twaddell Avenue for a protest. The issue, the Parade's Commission's refusal to allow 3 North Belfast lodges to parade home past Ardoyne on the evening of the 12th of July. That's resulted in what's become known as Camp Twaddell. Gareth Gordon visited the protest this week, where Orange men told him they're prepared to stay there for as long as it takes.
The seasons have changed, but in this corner of North Belfast, not much else has. Every night is the 12th of July. At Twaddell Avenue, they refuse to move on. The symbols of defiance fly proudly at the self-proclaimed civil rights camp. And in a humble porta-cabin sits the banner of the Ligonil True Blues, one of 3 North Belfast Orange lodges the Parade's Commission said couldn't parade home by their chosen route on the evening of the 12th.
It's not a question of the route we want to go. And this is a misnomer that's been put about many times, especially by the BBC, I must add. It's not a question of a route we want to go. It's the only route. There are no other roads that we can go along. Now, it's all right saying reroute them, go a different way, but there only is one way. Wouldn't watch them.
How long are you prepared to stick it out here?
As long as it takes.
What are you prepared to do to get that parade?
I'm prepared to stand here as long as it takes, in a non-violent way. I'm here to support my brother, and if I have to stand here 24/7, I'm willing to stand 24/7.
Why should we let them take our culture off us and saying them and the Catholics, they get all they want?
But is that true?
That's true, all right. As
Or do you
far as
just
I can see.
Or do you just believe that to be true?
No, I know that is true.
But there is another view, the one from across the street.
What we should have now in the autumn is a period of relative calm. This is the time that the Orange Order need to de-escalate the situation and sit down with local residents. I mean, I'm not going to get into negotiations in public. I think that's a thing for the Orange Order and local residents to sit down and do in a very honest and open way.
They may think that there's absolutely no point in sitting down with you because you hold the whip hand and you're never going to agree to a parade.
But I think everything is up for discussion. I mean, let's sit down, put stuff on the table, and then we'll see what's doable and what's not doable.
Darkness falls and the police cordon at the top of the Woodvale Road is manoeuvred into place. Soon it's barring the way as the banner of the Ligonil True Blues is brought from the camp to head the nightly parade. But this time, instead of confrontation, the parade wheels into a side street to emerge again minutes later in Twaddell Avenue. We also catch sight of 2 youths wearing masks. We never discover why. The protest remains peaceful throughout. Nearly 3 months on from the 12th of July, this is the nightly reality in Twaddell Avenue, and there's no sign of it ending anytime soon. As the banner is brought to the police lines, the band follows, its identity hidden as well. From last week, the Commission has banned the playing of music along this short stretch of road, the one that leads to the interface.
The Parade's Commission determination is that no music shall be played at the junction of Twaddell Avenue and Woodvale Drive, and the first point of the junction of Twaddell Avenue and Crumlin Road.
The police warnings are ignored. On the other side, the traffic moves, but few people have come out to watch the nightly ritual.
So it was myself and many locals have been volunteering every night to kind of walk the streets on this side to keep young people away from reacting to what's been actually happening on the other side of the street. So it's been a very strange experience.
It's almost like a return to the old days of Drumcree.
Yeah, it's almost like, in a sense, I suppose, in a sense, history repeating itself. On the sheer the waste of time and energy for everybody actually involved in it. At the moment, it's costing £29.50 a minute. As I said, one day we could have had Gareth Bale playing for the Star local football team because it's 300,000 a week, and you can kind of, smile at that. But when you think of the fact that what could that be in terms of, there's 100 police being recruited, could it be more police, could it be more nurses, more doctors, more teachers? So just the sheer waste itself is actually something that's having a detrimental effect on the whole of society, not just Ardoyne.
In Camp Twaddell, the talk is not of ending the protest, but of possibly stepping it up.
At every stage, it's been other people have escalated, have upped the ante, not us. And the time may come when it's up to the people in this area and the people of the lodges and the people who support us to up the ante and to extend what's actually happening.
Well, how would you do that?
That's to be decided.
That's not the official orange line, but it appears the Order and its supporters at Twaddell are dug in for a long, hard winter.
Gareth Gordon reporting there from Twaddell Avenue in North Belfast. Nigel Dodds, should these nightly protests continue?
Well, the right of peaceful protest, it is important that they remain peaceful, that they remain non-violent. People want to express their opposition to the Parades Commission and what they've done in rewarding violence, because remember, the Orange Order abided by all the Parades Commission determinations, acted entirely peacefully for years and years and years. There's been discussion and dialogue, and what happened was, over the last number of years, severe Republican violence. The Parades Commission have rewarded that in banning the Orange Order, and people have reacted very, very angrily.
And that's worth £50,000 a night, is it,
human rights.
for the cost of policing
no,
it?
and I warned the Secretary of State and the Parades Commission at the time that in taking such decisions, they were incurring not just a cost in terms of escalating tension, but in terms of real cost to the police. Nobody wants to see this. But at the end of the day, the responsibility lies on those who want to reward violence and punish good behaviour. And that's what's happened here.
And no responsibility on the part of the people who are taking part in these nightly protests whatsoever.
People have a right to take part in peaceful, legitimate protests.
And none of those pictures give you any concern, people walking around with masks?
Well, I don't want to see people I've been there, and I do not want to see people running around in balaclavas.
Well, they are.
Well, we saw two people.
Yeah, we saw a band also wearing masks.
And you can't be responsible for everybody who turns up.
Of course not.
But I know for a fact
but we saw a band wearing masks.
Let me finish. We have had a peaceful protest. It's been going on now for 85 days, almost every Saturday. The vast majority of people are there openly displaying who they are, what they stand for. It's been non-violent, non-threatening. Let us continue in that way, and at the same time, let us have a bit of common sense in terms of trying to move this forward. The recent Twaddell initiative that was announced, and we had this knee-jerk negative reaction from all sides. That should have been responded to positively. Let's get into dialogue. Let's move the thing forward.
Common sense, Jerry Kelly?
Well, it wasn't an initiative, it was a pre-condition, which says that we will deign to talk to you as long as we get our way first. Yeah. The decision has already been made about the 2013 parade. Let's get down and talk about the 2014 parade. There are people who are disguising, they're actually breaking the law and not only playing the music but in also masking up in terms of that. Nigel says that there's no intimidation. I know that there's nobody practically nobody on the national side who will go down to Tesco's, which is where they used to shop locally.
Why not then just say, listen, do you know what, Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, go ahead, it'll take 10 minutes.
Well, because
what's the problem with that?
Because, read their statement. Read the statement from the Grand Orange Lodge of Belfast. They said they want to continue the 12th of July parade, therefore they want to break the Parades Commission. It should be no surprise to you or the viewers to listen to Nigel Dodds talking about the Parades Commission the way he is, because they were against it from the beginning.
So it's worth it, is it worth it?
But they were against it from the beginning. Well, let me put it this way. Yeah. The actual dispute is 150 yards down the road in Woodvale. So you have to ask the question, why do they bring it up to an interface? And this is a well-known interface over the last 15 to 20 years to raise tension when that is not the issue. The issue is 150 yards away. Why not go there? Why not go there if you do not want trouble?
Well,
if you do not want tension, then go to the
quick response, Nigel Dodds, and then I want to bring Peter in again.
Twaddell Avenue, which is entirely 100% unionist area, have come out for many, many years to support the Orange Brethren as they come up that main arterial route, which is supposed to be a shared space, and that is where they gather and that is where they give their support. So that is the natural point. So this is a nitpicking point.
And you don't think that either of you, as elected representatives in North Belfast, owe it to yourselves and to people watching this programme and to people in North Belfast to try to come up with some sort of sensible solution to save Northern Ireland £300,000 a week.
We have been involved in discussions in the past.
Well, you haven't got very far.
Well, I know they haven't. And the trouble is that when you have discussions and dialogue and they don't reach agreement, somebody has to make a decision. What the Parades Commission...
Very quickly, and then I want to speak to
you. There was dialogue just before the 12th of July. There was a statement made from all those involved, and I was one of the people involved, from all of those involved, including the Orange Men, that they would return, no matter what the Parades Commission decision was, they would return to dialogue, but the Orange Order has not done.
OK, Peter Sheridan, you told us 5 minutes ago you were optimistic for the future. You still optimistic for the future?
Well, you know, there's a big section of the population out there. I think at the start of your piece there, they said it was a corner of North Belfast. And of course we can't dismiss the concerns of either people in Ardoyne as residents or the people who want to finish the parade. But there's a big part of Northern Ireland. We heard of 1,000 jobs being announced today. And sometimes, you know, we emphasise one part of a problem. We focus on symbolism that perhaps, whilst it's important, it's at the superficial level. What's more important is our values and core values here. OK, we need to leave it there. Thank you to the three of you very much indeed for joining us on the programme. That's where we have to leave that.